Hi, and welcome to my new channel EuroCosmo TV. I moved the launch of this channel ahead due to the ongoing US elections in order to still get a couple of videos in. To, on the one hand, perhaps reach a couple of voters before the elections are over and encourage them to choose democracy and freedom over potential authoritarianism and dictatorship. And, on the other hand, to share ideas, advice, proposals, observations, commentary, analysis, and forecasts for after the election is over. This is the introduction video of a new series on my channel called Land of the Free, about the United States of America. My name is Andrej Novak, and I'm not American, but European from Germany. Nevertheless, I have a close connection with America and consider myself a friend of the US. I'm calling this series of videos Land of the Free because that is what America is and strives to be. And that is what has made it a beacon of hope for so many people and also countries around the world for centuries. Expressed so profoundly and beautifully in the American creed of the United States of America as a government of the people, by the people, and for the people, whose just powers are derived from the consent of the governed, a democracy in a republic and a sovereign nation of many sovereign states, a perfect union, one and inseparable, established upon those principles of freedom, equality, justice, and humanity for which American patriots sacrificed their lives and fortunes. And I just wish that this will continue and that I'll never have to speak of America as anything but the land of the free. That's what's at stake at this election, though. Speaking of which, I know a thing or two about not being free from my family's experience here in Europe. My parents came from socialist Yugoslavia to West Germany in the early 70s, namely to Bavaria, which had become part of the American zone in West Germany after World War II. Both my mother's German side of the family and my father's Croatian side of the family had suffered immensely under communist and socialist rule. They had a deep appreciation for the liberty that they could enjoy in West Germany under American and NATO protection. During my childhood in the 1980s, during the Cold War, I grew up on a street with American military families and their children. I remember that we always respected the American military and were grateful for their presence. We also thought that they were pretty cool. So my basic impression of America and Americans, also of course because of beloved movies and TV shows, had always been positive. And one of my earliest political lessons I actually got from my father in around 1987, when the Cold War was still on and we came hiking to the top of Mount Rachel in the Bavarian Forest National Park, right on the border with then Czechoslovakia. And as my brother and I stood on the top of Mount Rachel, my father pointed to the east and told us, well, the border is right here at the foot of the mountain, and on the other side are the Russians or the Soviets. And this is the Iron Curtain, and people on the other side are not free. And the reason that the Soviets aren't coming here isn't the German armed forces, the Bundeswehr, but it's the Americans and their presence. And I never forgot that lesson. Only a few years later, the Berlin Wall fell. The Iron Curtain disappeared. The Soviet Union was dissolved and much of the world seemed to come closer together. There was optimism that old divisions could be overcome. However, in my parents' homeland in Yugoslavia, in Croatia, this did not work out and Yugoslavia dissolved violently. The breakup of Yugoslavia and its farewell from communism was not peaceful because Serbian President Slobodan Milosevic turned to aggressive genocidal nationalism and attacked the former Yugoslav republics that had declared independence after free elections, one by one. Slovenia, Croatia, and Bosnia, as well as later Kosovo. But in 1991, Croatia was attacked, including my mother's hometown, Vukovar. And that came as a great shock to us. The peace and stability in Europe that I had until then taken more or less for granted were gone. And because of this, I've had a keen interest in international relations and politics since 1991. I started looking into a career in this area, and I decided in order to really gain deeper understanding, I had to go to America. So in order to study international relations and to work in this field, I started to work towards spending a high school year in the US, and by the summer of 1995, I was on a plane to the Midwest to live with an American family for a year. I enrolled in Springfield High School in Holland, Ohio as a senior and spent one of the greatest and most formative years of my life there, living with my welcoming and open-minded American host family in the suburbs of Toledo, Ohio. While there, my all-American experience included homecoming and Friday night football games in general, playing varsity sports, my first Halloween, studying American history, starring in the high school musical of The Wizard of Oz as the Tin Man, saying the Pledge of Allegiance in English and Spanish every morning, watching the Super Bowl and the Detroit Tigers home game, having sloppy joes, mac and cheese, Taco Bell, pancakes with maple syrup at a 24-hour diner, and pizza nights. Musically, expanding my horizon to include Alanis Morissette, Third Eye Blind, Snoop Dogg and the Fugees, to name just a few. Getting my first driver's license and visiting a gun range. Graduating and experiencing senior prom. The presidential election campaign of 1996 between Clinton and Dole, and being friends with Americans ever since. I have also had the privilege of having visited a number of states, from Rhode Island in the east to California in the west, and from Michigan in the north to Florida in the south over the years, and having unforgettable experiences that impacted me deeply and gave me a great appreciation and good understanding of American culture and history. Historically, I am also grateful for the role that the US has played in Europe to end 2 world wars, not only ending German imperialism and fascism, but also providing peace, liberty, democracy, and rule of law for my native West Germany. And as a basically lifelong friend of America, I feel connected to and involved in what direction the country is taking and always wish for the best. I know that we here in Europe and the whole free world will be immensely affected if America does not hold on to its democracy and if it falls prey to authoritarian tendencies, democratic backsliding, and perhaps even to a dictator. And so what I'm trying to do here is to weigh in with my best advice and some words of caution based on painful historical experience here in Europe. To get my points across, I will be at times quite direct or blunt even, and entertaining and funny at others. The importance of making the right choice to continue the American experiment with trustworthy leaders cannot be overstated. On this election day and in the weeks, months, and years going forward. If I have managed to catch your attention, you are welcome to subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and hit the like button as well. Or even make a financial contribution to help us produce more high-quality content. See the video description for details. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you back on the channel. And now, without further ado, I'm going to get busy publishing videos regarding the US in my Land of the Free series. See ya!